Good morning, Buckeye Nation. That's right, it is Saturday morning, which means this is another game day edition of the OHIO podcast call-in show with your host, the Wildman, Chris Wilds. Now, before we dive into all the scarlet and gray goodness, I need you to do me a favor. Please go on, hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure you're sharing this with all your fellow Buckeye maniacs. And don't forget to ring the bell so that you never miss a single drop of Buckeye content as soon as it hits. And hey, if you're ready to take that next step in the fandom, if you're ready to take it from this level to this level, check out our Patreon channel. That's right, you get Vader's blogs, you get the message board, exclusive content that you can only catch on Patreon, as well as our recruiting content and our legendary live game watch parties. All this starting out at just $5 a month. Get in there, support the show, watch the game watch parties, become a part of the OHIO podcast family. And speaking of Buck Vader and his blog, Vader was going to call in this morning, but hey, he is working some hot sources. Hop on over to Patreon, check out the message boards. Vader's always dropping some great content over there. Jeffrey McDowell, welcome this morning. Good to see you in here, as well as our buddy Rolling Coconut. Great chat last night with Coconut, and I got to see some pictures with he and former heavyweight champion of the world, James Buster Douglas. Mimi is in the chat. We also have, let's see, who else we got down here in the chat for today? Tyler, my friend, never missing a show. Absolutely love it. We got Lance over here in the chat today. So the chat is hopping. Guys, before we get right into it, let's go here. Game day in Madison, Wisconsin used to be a scary, scary place going to Camp Randall Stadium. The Badgers were frightening at one time. They really gave, especially under Trussell, really gave Ohio State difficulty. And you would think that this one had the makings of a major slugfest. But that's just not the case. Here's what I'm expecting today, guys. First of all, that defense, it's legit and it travels. The Silver Bullet unit is playing with bad intentions, and Wisconsin's offense, it's about as dangerous as a rubber knife right now. I mean, the Badgers have struggled to move the ball at all this season. And their quarterback play, guys, that's shaky at best. Offensively, I want to see Ohio State get out there, run the rock, but don't be afraid to use the pass to open the run. That Wisconsin front seven, it's going to hit you in the mouth. They're still somewhat stingy. But if our offensive line can win at the point of attack and play the long game, I think Bo Jackson and company have a day. As for my personal score prediction, I'm coming in at 45-0 Ohio State. I think this one's over by the half. Other things we're going to touch on today, halfway point of the season. So where do we stand, Buckeye Nation? What are your thoughts? We've heard criticism of the rushing attack. Some people saying it's still a work in progress. I've heard one podcaster, an Ohio State podcaster, say it was a lost cause. I'm furious about that. Here's my take, because it's definitely not a lost cause. It's a unit that is slowly finding its identity. The offensive line is very good. I think Bo Jackson is just learning how to play at the college game, but has all the talent in the world. I think James Peoples is going to hit stride at some point. CJ Donaldson, man, I'm telling you, if we need the tough yard, I feel like he can get it for us. Julian saying, guys, a lot of people have questioned our schedule. They say, is he for real? Can he sustain this against legit competition? Well, I'll tell you, first of all, he's faced some legit competition. And he didn't throw 4 picks like Carson Beck versus Louisville yesterday. He hasn't thrown 4 picks all season. He's got poise, accuracy, touch. The kid looks like he's been playing in Columbus for years, not months. Wisconsin's going to be a physical test defensively. We still have Penn State. We still have Michigan coming up, obviously. The stretch is going to tell us everything we need to know, and I think you're going to be very pleased. And finally, the defense, man. Can it really be as good as it looks? I say yes. Right now, this is a defense that Matt Patricia has flying all over the place. Second best overall defense in the country. Best scoring defense in the country. One of the best third down defenses in the country. This defense gives me something to be excited about. But what are your thoughts as we enter the second half of the season? And finally, guys, one other thing that I want to talk about a little bit today is our buddy Luke Fickell up in Wisconsin. Fick, a Buckeye legend, a great guy. He bled scarlet and gray as a player. He did as an assistant coach. Things not going well in Madison. His seat is hotter than a July tailgate on Lane Avenue, I'm telling you. He hasn't been able to get the Badgers offense rolling. He made some changes which did not really bode well. The fan base is restless, and I feel like Ohio State could be a breaking point for them. So what is Luke Fickell's future? What are your thoughts on that? All right, guys, we're going to get the phone lines fired up. 567-483-1999. I've got 3 in queue already. Guys, we are going to try our best to keep this to around 10 minutes a call. We're going to do our best to do that today. I want to get as many people calling as possible. If we don't have calls, we're going to wrap it up early. I'm not going to lie. So make sure, if you have something to say, you want to chime in on what you think about the Buckeyes or the season or today's game or Fick's future, please give us a call, 567-483-1999. So we're going to slide on over to our first caller. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is our buddy, the Diesel Freak, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead, caller.
Chris, you damn sure know this is the Diesel Freak. For the love of God, Chris. For the love of freaking God, it's me.
Okay, it's you.
It is the Brock Lesnar of Ohio State fans. It is the man, the myth, the legend, the man who ended Burke's career, and the man who is calling his shot tonight. Yes, that is correct. You heard me right, Chris. I didn't freaking stutter. And oh, the hell with Wisconsin. Oh, the hell with Wisconsin. Excuse me. I've been up since 6 a.m. hustling, but I'm not going to brag about. So I'm just going to make this as crystal clear as I can. Ohio State today beats the living hell out of Wisconsin 52-0. Simple as that. And the defense just cooks. Let the defense cook. Simple as that.
Yeah, Caden, actually, we're pretty in sync on this one. I mean, I had a few less points. I think I went about a touchdown last time. I went 45-0.
Hey, Chris, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on here. And as far as Penn State, they're nothing but a bunch of pussycats. And as far as that scum team, I don't know if they're having a crisis or they're having a crisis like the woke left of this country. I don't know. You tell me otherwise. But as far as those two are concerned, our defense is going to beat the living hell out of those dumb. As far as I'm concerned, nobody is stopping us. Nobody is beating Ohio State this season. I've said this before, and I said this again last week. Our schedule is weak as crap. And did I not say that it was weak last week?
You did indeed say that.
And here's the other thing. I am the only, And I say the only Ohio State Buckeye fan on this daggone planet that's calling his shot. That's calling his shot and calling out these other fan bases, yapping on the internet, claiming like, oh, they're the chosen ones to beat Ohio State, blah, 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 blah. No, the only thing that you're chosen for is getting your kicked by this Ohio State defense, and you won't have an excuse after we beat the living out of y'all. As far as I'm concerned, nobody, and I'm saying this loud and clear, nobody is stopping us. Nobody. Not Alabama, not Penn State, not Oregon, not Indiana, and it's damn not. Jerome Moore and his boys can go back to their little children's nursery where they belong, watching Sesame Street. Because as far this is our house. This is our yard. This is our kingdom. This is where we rule things around here, and this is where we run things around here, as far as I'm concerned. Because this league is not meant for little boys. As I said last week, Chris, and if you heard me loud and clear, you won't forget what I said, but you probably did, but I'm going to remind you again. If you cannot run with the big dogs, if you cannot hang with the big dogs, if you cannot feast with the big dogs, get lost. Because you clearly cannot hang with the best of the best. And I said that clear. Do I make myself clear, or do I need to remind anybody else on this damn program?
Well, Caden, here's the thing. I don't think you got a lot of people.
No, Chris. No. I made it perfectly clear.
Excuse me. Excuse me. No, sir. I am not a child, and you will not talk to me like that. Now, I don't know if you're just pumped up and getting a little carried away, but you are going to take a step back right now. I'm willing to have a conversation, but I am not willing to be talked to like that. Now, as I was saying, I don't believe anyone is disagreeing with your take on the ability of this team to go undefeated. I don't think anybody is going to disagree with you at that point. I think most of us considered Illinois the biggest challenge, and it's been dealt with. I also believe everybody's 100% on you with you that nobody believes that Michigan is going to beat this team this year. This is a Michigan team, and you kind of referenced it, that is in turmoil. This is a Michigan team that right now, I said it last night when we were doing our game watch last night on Patreon, that I feel is probably a 7-5 team again. But at the same time, I'm going to say this. Arrogance begets ignorance. In other words, yes, I believe we can do it and I have all the confidence in the world, but we can't take this to a level of arrogance, because when you do, you get what happened in Miami last night. When you take...
That was Miami, Chris. That was Miami. This is Ohio State.
It can happen to anybody at any time if they get arrogant.
You know, Chris, I am fired up. I already had 2 Mountain Dews, so just be warned. The only reason I told you to sit on down was because I'm fired up. Just so you know. Just so you know.
Okay.
And second of all, Chris, I shouldn't have to be reminding people on this damn internet to be clear about this. No. But unfortunately, there are those who don't understand what the hell is going on. And I'm going to say this loud and clear. I am the only person on this damn internet that's speaking this with the set of balls that I have. And you know what? I'm glad that I'm the only Ohio State Buckeye on this dang planet that's doing it like the way I do it and the way I do things.
Well,
and you know, here's the other thing, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say whatever the hell I want, when I want, and whenever the hell I please. I go where I want, and when I want, and I will.
Well, not on this show, you don't, Caden. So take a back seat there, Skippy. You just earned yourself another 2-week timeout. Okay, so now that nonsense is over with and he realizes whose show this actually is, we are going to move on to the next caller. And it looks like we have, let's see here, coming up here. Oh, looks like Dave in Tampa, so we're going to have some intelligent conversation coming up here. Dave, how's it going?
It's going, brother.
Whew.
I can't. What do you think the score is going to be today?
I got it 45-0. I do. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be painful. It's gonna suck to watch for Wisconsin fans. I'm gonna love this as an Ohio State fan. I'm gonna feel bad for Luke Fickell as it unfolds.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I thought the same thing about 45-0. There's no way they're scoring anything, especially after this defense came out after that game and said, "Yeah, none of us are happy giving up 16 points." I don't see giving up any points right now, especially to Wisconsin. That's just not happening. They won't. They'll be lucky if they sniff. They'll be lucky if they even get close to the 50. Yeah, I think we're. I think the only ones that could possibly give us a game will be Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. That's the only. I think that's it. Look, Miami just got manhandled last night.
Yeah.
Nebraska got their face mask kicked off last night.
Yeah, being a ranked team is a dangerous thing right now if you're not named Ohio State. So that's why I'm saying we can't get arrogant.
Yeah, you can't get arrogant. I'm with you. I don't see us losing a game until maybe next year. You know? I've watched a lot of games already this year. I've seen all the teams, and I knew Miami would eventually get beat, and I'm not surprised they got beat last night. I told Mimi last night. I said, "Watch, I bet you Miami gets beat tonight," and they did.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
Jeff Brom's a heck of a coach, man, and he does a good job with the talent that he gets, and there's players like they play hard for him, and you better never look past Louisville.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Miami's energy. I know I saw him throw at least 3 interceptions last night.
He threw 4.
I wasn't watching the regular cast. I like watching. You ever watch the Sky Cast?
I have, but it's been a while. I typically I have YouTube TV and I have the 4 games going at once usually. Now last night we watched it on Patreon, so we just kind of caught the game on there. But
I love watching because I have to listen to the idiot announcers, and usually the camera angles are better, and you can see stuff better, and it's a much better experience watching it on the Skycast if you can get. If it's, on ESPN, obviously. But, yeah, I just don't see. I'm looking around. Like, Asper St. U has had the best season that they've had since, 1938 so far.
Yeah.
But they look good for an A&M team. I tell you what, if we played A&M, we would wreck them.
Yeah, I don't like their defense against our offense. I mean, I think, and not only that, I don't like their offense against our defense because our defense is just brutal.
Nope. No.
This is not a Big 12 defense.
You look at the best defense in the country.
Yeah, they're used to playing Big 12 defenses, which is to say none. So, I mean, it's easier to score that way. or I'm sorry, SEC defenses, which basically is the same thing this year. I don't know if you've seen some of the
Yeah,
scores of the
you
SEC
look around
games,
the
but it's been
SEC,
ugly.
I see a whole bunch of 10-2 and 9-3 teams across the SEC. That's what I see.
Well, and
That's what I was going to say.
Here's the funny thing, and I just wanted to bring this up because if you look, total defense, in the top 10, you do have two SEC teams in Oklahoma and Missouri. They have not exactly played the power schools of the SEC. Then you've got Toledo at 3. You have Indiana at 4 and Ohio State at 4 and James Madison all tied at 4. These are 3 teams that are very good defensively. And let me tell you, I'm not going to lie to you. My thought right now, Indiana is the second best team in the Big Ten. And it's because of the same formula that Ohio State's rocking right now. Solid offensive line play, great defense, and a quarterback who is being very efficient. But you've got, if you look at the top 10 defenses, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are Big Ten teams. Half the top 10 defenses in the country are Big Ten teams. And then you take that a step farther and you look at the scoring defenses. And scoring defenses in the Big Ten are also very good, as you've got Indiana, you've got Iowa, you've got Ohio State, of course, the number 1, only allowing 6.83. Ohio State is averaging less than 3 points, or 3 points less a game than the number 2 in scoring defense. I'm telling you right now, Big Ten defense is for real. Now, your clowns down in the South are going to tell you it's because they don't play anybody. That's not the case. It's because the SEC just doesn't play defense anymore. It's that simple. Look at their 40 to 39 games.
I don't see anybody in the SEC that looks that scary to me.
No. Bama's probably playing the best football in the SEC, and they have weaknesses.
Yeah, you got Texas A&M, you got Alabama, and Georgia looks good, but they don't look great. They certainly don't look elite.
One, you got Georgia playing today against who does Georgia have today? I picked the game.
It got
yeah, I took the Ole Miss. And Ole Miss, very good offensively, but I have questions on defense.
Yeah, I mean, Kiffin usually has a good defense, but nothing great. You know.
Do you know who scares me most in the nation?
Nothing great.
Dave, do you know who scares me most in the nation defensively outside of Ohio State and Indiana? Texas Tech.
Yeah.
My God, those guys fly around like maniacs, hitting anything that breathes.
Yeah, the Texas Tech does look good. I think Texas Tech should they'll probably win the Big 12, but today you got Utah BYU play.
Yep.
I'm not sure who Cincinnati play. I don't know. Do they have a bye today? I don't know if they have a bye this week.
Let me look here for you.
Cincinnati looks pretty decent.
Cincinnati.
They're not.
Cincinnati might have a bye. I'm not seeing them on the schedule. Unless they're out west in their late game, because I'm scrolling through at the pace of. I'm scrolling through my FanDuels. That's where I find out. Most people flip over to ESPN. Nope, not me. I flip over to FanDuel. I do not see them on the schedule today. So I'm going to say they probably have their bye today.
The SEC just does not look. There's nobody down there that looks scary. There's some some good teams, but there's nobody down there that's scary. And I think yeah, you could have an SEC championship that has two teams that both had 2 losses.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
think the SEC and the ACC, we were talking about it when we covered the game last night. Look at the ACC. This is a team where the 2 teams that control their destiny now with this loss by Miami is Virginia, who lost a conference game, but it was a non-conference game to NC State. So they're still perfect in the conference, even though they lost to a conference team, which just boggles my mind. And then you've got Georgia Tech. And both those teams have fairly easy schedules playing out in conference. Now, Georgia Tech gets Georgia the last game of the year. But if they're undefeated in the conference, it doesn't matter what happens in that game because they're going to have most likely the better loss against versus Virginia if they both win out. So, yeah, I mean, you're 100% right.
yeah,
Thank you. Excuse me, Dave. Thank you, Caden. I appreciate that.
There's just no there's just I just don't see anybody that can really that's good. I think Indiana's the only one that could give us a game. I think it would be close. And I think if they were to win it, they'd probably win it by a field goal or less because the shakiest part of Ohio State is special teams. Our special teams are absolutely freaking dog water, and that crap's got to get fixed.
Yeah.
This kicker situation, and the punter situation, can't kick something over 30 yards. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't get
frustrating.
it. Oh, I do apologize, by the way, Dave.
I don't understand.
Cincinnati does play at Oklahoma State tonight. I just missed it. It's an 8:00 game.
Okay. Ooh. You know what, man? You see these programs where they fire their coach and they've got new life. You know?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what happens with Penn State going forward here. Getting rid of I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming with them firing Franklin.
Can I just say that I think that we're going to find out that was probably a good move in the long run because I think what happened is Franklin had lost that locker room. That other loss just did him in, that second loss. And I don't want to be out here sounding like Feinbaum saying they're a dumpster fire or total trash right now. I think they have a serious confidence issue. However, if you get the right coach in there who can fire them up, this team still has a lot of talent. However, with Aller going down, it may be too little too late. Because every team's just going to load 7-8 in the box and force this freshman kid to try to beat him. And it's tough to win in the Big Ten as a freshman. Ask Bryce Underwood.
Oh, yeah, they're got some issues, unfortunately. But I think Penn State they'll find somebody and they'll get things stabilized, and I'm not too worried about them. It is going to be interesting to see who they go get, though. That's the thing. I want to see who's Penn State go get. See if they go get somebody maybe we haven't heard of. Just wild. What a wild year. What a wild year. And the rumors are saying that no matter what happens today, that what's his name down there in at Gainesville is going to get fired.
Yeah, I heard that as well. Florida's done, and maybe if Buck Vader's in the chat, maybe he's got who knows? Maybe he's got people at Florida as well. He's got people everywhere. But I just
And we killed it. We killed it this week on flipping targets. We got some guys in the for 2026 and some 2027 guys. Looks like we're probably going to get that running back, that number one running back for a 2027 class.
Yeah, potentially. That's oh, here you go. Mr. Bucknuts says maybe PJ Fleck should move over to Penn State. I like the stabilizing influence that he brings. I think he's good, not great. I think that he could get that team back to at least maybe a couple years where they're winning. Maybe he's getting some recruits coming back in again. Because I think you're going to see a massive exodus from Penn State, just depending on who they get. If they don't come up with somebody special, I think you see a big shift. Especially when you consider the fact that odds are a lot of these assistants are going to be gone too.
Yeah. Just a wild year with this. It's not done yet. There's going to be some other coaches get fired.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be some other coaches that get fired before this thing's over with, because it is just we're in a different age, man, where you don't know what the heck is going to happen.
Well, and here's the other thing, Dave. We are at an age where premium coaches out there right now, most of the great ones have moved on, whether they've moved on to the NFL, whether they've moved on and retired, whether they've moved on to the announce booth. There are no more Nick Sabans out there right now, although Ryan Day's putting in his bid. There are no more Urban Meyers out there right now. Even though he's a young man, he's only 61 years old. He could still get out there and coach if he wanted to. I mean, you've got Ryan Day. You've got Kirby, who's got an argument. I think Dabo's on the decline. I don't know that he's going to make it, still be the coach at Clemson next year. You look at the great coach Sark's. Some of the shine is off of Sark. You got the asshat over at Notre Dame, who I can't stand, but he's up and coming still. Can't count to 11, but he's up and coming. I mean, the crop of coaches is just not great right now. What Penn State needs to do is go out and find their Jim Tressel. They need to find the person who can go in, stabilize, and rebuild. And he's not being left with an empty cupboard if they get the right guy.
You get the right guy in there, and you get the right person in there, and it's going to be they'll be back in no time at all, especially the way college football is now. And I think one of the biggest things that the NCAA's done is given the JUCO guys give them a red shirt. Man, I tell you what, man, that's going to have a huge impact going down the road here. It's going to be a massive
It is,
impact.
but it isn't, because I don't like where we're headed with this, and with Diego from down there at Vanderbilt, trying to claim unlimited eligibility at this point. It's becoming semi-pro football. It's moved on past NFL light even at that point. It's become semi-pro, where guys are just hanging on for a paycheck. They're not even students anymore.
Absolutely.
When you've got guys in their 7th, 8th, 9th year in college, unless you're getting a medical degree, you don't belong there.
Right.
So, all right. Well, real quick, let me get your thoughts on today's game, because I do have another caller in queue, and we've gone almost 20 minutes. So.
Oh my goodness.
So, what are your thoughts on today's game?
I think you called it. I think it's going to be 45-0. I think Ryan will try to keep it under 50.
Try to save
Um,
Fickle with
I don't
humiliation.
know. Only thing is, I think I'm not sure we'll kick a field goal today.
Fair enough.
Because I don't
Well,
think,
Eric actually, I think Eric picked 42-3 with a mercy field goal goal at the end for Wisconsin. But
yeah, it's going to be somewhere. It would be. I think it would be a 42 or 49 to nothing. I don't think it. I don't think it's going to be. Wisconsin's not going to score today. I don't even think they get close enough for a field goal. To be honest with you.
yeah, their offense is not good, and I joked about it on our preview show and said something about they may not cross the midfield mark. But they're bad. They are bad.
Yeah,
Their
it's
quarterback,
sad to see what's happened to Wisconsin.
their quarterback is not good. They've only got 1,000 yards passing so far this year. In 6 games, they've only mustered 1,000 yards passing. That's less than
Wow.
200 yards a game. And then you look
That's
rushing. Wisconsin, the great rushing power that they were, has a total of less than 700 yards rushing for the season through 6 games. They are barely getting over 100 yards a game. And a lot of those numbers were boosted by games against Middle Tennessee and I can't remember who the first one was that they played, but it was 2 very soft early games. It was Miami of Ohio and Middle Tennessee. Since then, they have not scored more than 14 points in a game. It's been 14 against Bama, and that's just because they had so many chances. 10, and last week Iowa closed them down. And let me tell you, that was a home game versus a bad Iowa team. And Iowa put up 37. Honestly, if Ohio State wants to put up 70, they probably do it. I think that Ryan Day keeps it civil and lets Luke Day keep his dignity, and it's a 45-0 game. So.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's somewhere there in the 40s, and I think Wisconsin doesn't even sniff. They probably don't even sniff midfield today. I think it's going to be a long afternoon for them.
Yeah.
Today, and it's just going to be ugly.
And what's bad is it doesn't get any easier for them in their next 5 games. Actually, let me just run their closeout of the schedule for you and just get your reaction. Just a one-word reaction to what they've got left. Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota.
Minnesota looked good last night too, man. That
is a bowl team, absolutely.
Good looking team, man. That's a good looking football team.
This is a Wisconsin team that I don't think wins again the rest of the year. I think they get beat up bad the rest of the year.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Hey, I'm gonna hop off here. I got another caller in queue. Thanks for the call. Enjoy the game later, and hey, we'll be over on Patreon at 3:30 if you want to hop on.
Roger that.
And have a great day. OH.
All right. OH. IO.
Go Bucks.
Scum sucks.
That was our buddy Dave in Tampa. We are good morning, Mangoes. That's okay. We are here. Phone lines are open. I'm getting ready to pull up my next caller. After that, the queue is open. 567-483-1999. Guys, the queue will be open after this. I'll keep going as long as the calls are coming in, but if the calls start to die off, we'll switch over to the my pick segment of the show and close it out early. Who could this possibly be? How's it going, Tyler?
Good morning, Chris.
What's up?
I gotta tell you one thing, Chris. I respect Caden. I
Yes.
respect him.
I do as
But
well.
if he's gonna keep calling, in every week and doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's kind of you have a right to pull him on timeout. You do. But honestly, I don't think he's gonna change one bit.
Well, we'll see what happens. I
think
hope he
that's who he
does.
is.
But Tyler, we had a few weeks there where he was making really good calls. We were getting good conversation, X's and O's stuff, which he did really well with, and it saddens me to see where it went to, because we're back to cutting WWF promos again. And I love his passion. If we could just put it into a good, solid call instead of just a rant. I've got a show where I rant already.
You have also noticed, though, Chris,
What's that?
with his rants, he rants specifically at you.
Yeah, that's what Eric was
He
saying.
doesn't do it with Eric.
So I think he's trying to get my goat and trying to get a response out of me. And this is the response I'm taking from now on is everybody who calls in here, and this is not just you, Caden, this is everybody who calls in, is going to use their big boy voice. They're going to have an intelligent conversation on here. I'm not saying we can't have a heated debate, but it's going to be a good, solid call, or we're not going to do it. So
I respect that.
That's just my take on this, because we have a lot of people who want to call, and we're not going to waste time on WWF promos anymore. We're going to talk football. So not only that, but the channeling the inner Jack Nicholson with the "Are you clear? Are we crystal?" Yeah, I get that. I know where you're going with it, bud, but we need to just keep it moving and keep things civil. All right, Tyler. Let's move past the Caden call. Let's move on to today's game. Wisconsin, Ohio State in Madison, in Camp Randall Stadium, a place that's been a den of horrors at times in the past, but not the same Ohio State team and definitely not the same Wisconsin team. Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. I agree. But this has been an issue that's been systemic from Wisconsin for a long, long time, Khalil. No, why is that Khalil?
Did you just call me Khalil?
No, I have another buddy who's named Khalil, and I was
okay.
talking to him earlier.
Chris. That's all right.
But Chris, it's been a systemic problem for quite a while since the end of the Paul Chris era.
Yeah.
And I remember the last time we played them. No, actually, it wasn't the last time. It was the last time we played them in the Horseshoe in 2022.
Yes.
That man, Paul Chris, looked like he should be in a retirement home.
I would almost argue, Tyler, that it goes back even further than Chris. I think Chris kept the crumbs together. I think really when Bielema left for Arkansas was the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah, that's true too. Like that, Brett Bielema brought a physicality to.
Well, he was an Alvarez guy. He was an Alvarez guy, so he understood the Alvarez mentality.
Which is crazy too, Chris, because Brett Bielema, his alma mater is Iowa.
Yes. But again, that's a tough program as well. They back in the 80s, they were in the early 90s, very physical, very tough team. The defense is still around. But you go back under Hayden Fry, they were so physical. So physical.
Yep.
And even under Ferentz for a long time, very physical. They just have not been able to play offense under Ferentz for the last 2 decades.
the other sad thing about, and we were talking this on the Patreon yesterday, Chris, before you hopped on. I said to Eric, with the Nebraska and Minnesota game, saying, is this going to feel like old Big Ten West football? And I'm to find out it was.
Yeah.
So, but Wisconsin was one of those teams in the Big Ten West that was always, they were good. They weren't great. They're good. But now they've gotten worse because now they're just not playing the Big Ten West.
Yes.
All the time.
Well, yeah, we talked about that when they did away with the divisions, Tyler. I can remember Eric and I having a show talking about that. And we said the teams that were going to get hurt were the West teams because they no longer had a lock spot in the Big Ten title game where they could go in with the hope of an upset or just go in and get good visibility for a better bowl game. Now you've got the two best teams from the Big Ten going. And lo and behold, it's still going to be two Big Ten East teams most likely in Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah, it's just now.
But who would have thought it was going to be Indiana at any point? You know, that's
the crazy part. Of all the teams, Indiana, like Indiana, you've been a doormat my entire existence.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, Signetti's got him playing good ball. He's got a good formula there. He and I don't like him. And I think he's got the most punchable face in all of football, maybe even more so than Dan Lanning. But you can't argue with the success he's having over there. He's doing great in the portal. He's recruiting and developing well. And Indiana is not an easy place to recruit. So you got to take your hat off to the guy, and you just have to wonder. I mean, I know he signed that big extension, but is somebody going to come along who's willing to pay the price?
So. Here's the other thing, Chris, is I don't even know how good Indiana is because they haven't played a team nowhere like yeah, Oregon's good. Well, I don't know how good they are with outside of Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit. Well, and even in Eugene, you know, Indiana handed it to them in their house.
And Indiana, do you really want to play us in the Big Ten championship game? Because
they do
right now.
They do. Make no mistake, and we better not be overconfident about it. We better not get arrogant because Signetti. Let me tell you right now, Signetti wants it. He has something to prove. And Will Howard, I love Will Howard, but Will Howard fueled that fire a little last year with Signetti. So Signetti's got something he wants to prove. He wants to prove to the world that he is the greatest coach because he took a program that has historically sucked, not been bad, has sucked. For 100 years, they have sucked. And he has turned that program into a legitimate national contender in 2 seasons.
I agree, Chris. But what's that old saying, too?
Be careful what you ask for.
You just might get it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so, hey, we're coming up on 10 minutes, Tyler. I want to make sure I get your thoughts on the score and everything for today. Also, give me your thoughts on the Buckeyes through the first half of the season. So let's touch on those 2 things. Let's get your thoughts on the day first.
I say 49-0.
Okay, so we're very close. I just think that one of them's a field goal. You think it's going to be 7 touchdowns. All right.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
And so far, Chris, with all the trap games, we were worried about these games right here. Washington to Wisconsin. So far, honestly, Chris,
Haven't looked like much of a trap, have they?
This entire schedule right now looks pretty pedestrian.
Well, Michigan and Ohio and Penn State have helped us out a lot in making that schedule look pedestrian. Because this was an Ohio State team that, in all honesty, should have faced 4 to 5 ranked teams this season, given what their schedule was. And those two teams just went to hell. I mean, at least Texas is still hovering,
Yeah. And I'll add on to that real quick, Chris. Because I know some people complain about, you guys shouldn't be happy when other teams lose. I'm like, okay, when we play a team and we beat them, I don't particularly care what happens to them afterwards.
No.
And this is referencing teams like Texas, teams like Washington, teams like Illinois. I don't care what happens to you after my Buckeyes play you. If my Buckeyes beat you on that day, I'm like, okay, cool, I beat you. Now, what happens to you afterwards, that's on you.
See, Tyler, now my take on it is this. I want Ohio State's opponents, with the exception of Michigan, to win every damn game on their schedule that's not against Ohio State. And that rolls right into the postseason. I want them to look good against everybody who's not Ohio State, with the exception of those damn scum loserines, and I want them to stay in the trash heap. I don't want them to get a win anytime, ever. Ever.
I agree, Chris. I agree with that sentiment, but also that's on the opponent. That's on the team and
yes.
That's on the schedule. If you don't show up, and you lose. I could want you to win all the time, other than playing my Buckeyes. But the fact is, you have to go out there and actually, win.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, I gotta go. I got 3 in queue, Tyler, and we're coming up on 14 minutes. I got looks like Billy Bob coming up next, followed by Rocky, and then Coconut. So
all right.
I appreciate it. Look forward to chatting with you in the Game Watch, man.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later. OH.
Bye.
Go Bucks. That was our man Tyler the Wrench, the guy who's taking care of the chat here for us, one of the many. All right, we are going to swoop down to sunny Florida right now. And we're going to have a talk with our friend Billy Bob. How's it going there today, sir? How's it going?
Well, Wildman.
Yes, sir.
Wildman, I am not in sunny Florida today.
Are you in Ohio today?
Actually, I'm in the OH.
All right.
Actually, more specifically, I'm in the CLE.
Oh, nice.
And it's sunny today. But the reason for my trip was to go see your and my favorite team, second favorite team.
It hurts, man.
The Clowns.
It hurts.
It hurts. But I'll make it, because right now the forecast is for about 1.5 inches of rain, potential thunder and lightning, and 25 to 35 mile an hour winds, maybe up to 40. Now,
well, it's a good thing we got a mobile quarterback.
Like yeah, exactly. The last time I was at a game like that was fortunate outcome at the Shoe when the Buckeyes forgot that Zeke Elliott was a running back. Party.
Yeah.
So that was the last ugly rainy day that when I went to a football game. That said, the weather in Madison is supposed to be really good.
It is.
I've been monitoring it. So when we talk about the times the Buckeyes have struggled with Bucky It's more so night games and crappy weather. So, but so
You know
I
what?
think we'll be all right.
This isn't Barry Alvarez or Brett Bielema as Wisconsin now. I, as an Ohio State fan, I look forward to a huge win, huge. But as a Luke Fickle fan, I hurt for the guy a little bit.
Agreed, 100%.
You know, Fick is a guy, and my dislike of Marcus Freeman because of the way he treated his alma mater is well documented on here.
Yep.
Fick was never that guy. He never He never built his program, even recruiting in the same state. Never built up his program trying to diss Ohio State. And that's one of the reasons I think Ohio State fans, myself included, still have such a great love for this guy. I think we all know he got a raw deal. He got a raw deal that year that he was interim coach.
Yep. Wasn't Fick's kind of his motto when he was at Cincinnati? He called it, "We're recruiting the state of Cincinnati." I believe that's kind of how he said it. You know, and ironically, he kind of stemmed the tide because Sparty gets a lot of guys out of Cincinnati. I mean, I don't think they have so much since Fick was there, but you used to look at their roster and like, holy crap, how many guys out of Cincy were at East Lansing?
Oh yeah.
So, hey, but I agree with you. Signetti is. I think he is now by a good distance ahead of Dan Lanning for the most punchable face.
Yeah, I cannot stand Signetti.
Especially after that one interview he did. I think it was after the Oregon game.
Yeah.
He was talking to the reporter, but he was looking up like he was waxing poetically, and he looked about as arrogant as anybody could look.
Oh, he is. He's a very arrogant guy. Now, that being said, Ryan Day is a bit of an anomaly in football because he is that head coach. Because I do believe you have to have a lot of confidence to be a head football coach, especially at the college level.
Yep.
But Ryan Day is also still a very humble guy. He's still very humble, though, for the most part, too.
True.
Which is something that I think is an anomaly, which I think actually was something that hurt him early on. Did I think winning that national title has moved him past? So I'm hoping that plays out November 29th. I think it's going to. I think he's finally going to shut up the people in Ann Arbor. Thank God, because I'm tired of hearing from him.
Yeah, he definitely did not. He reacted very. It was out of character for the way Day. You know, he changed. To your point, he was very almost not only soft spoken but easy. And after that colonoscopy last year, you know, that 13-10 colonoscopy, he didn't like that so much. So you know, but I will also, real quick on Signetti, I will also agree with you. He would love a rematch with the Buckeyes because he said if their special teams would have played good last year, he thinks they would have won the game. But it's all three.
It is
special teams, right?
I mean, and I can see where he's making that argument from, given Caleb's big return. I can see where he's making that argument from, but at the same time, to me, it feels like just an excuse.
Yep.
So
I mean, a lot of teams could make that. Illinois could have said that, you know, last week. They could have said, "Oh, well, we turned the ball over. You know, special teams. The guy put his knee down." But instead, Bielema decided to go to, well, if I would have run up tempo the whole game, Ohio State couldn't have done crap with it. And I'm like, well, Brett, if you're that smart and you studied, and you guys don't listen to the sound, but we all heard that Joel Klatt talking about how Bielema went and I think it's good for the Buckeyes that he did this.
Yeah.
He went and studied the Patriots Giants championship game or Super Bowl, and he decided to spread the field and go up tempo. And I think that's good because the Buckeyes hadn't seen that really like that.
Yeah.
So it's another thing to work on.
And I this much I'll say. He's a bit of a whiner at times, but I respect Brett Bielema because unlike Signetti, he didn't make excuses. Unlike Kirby Smart, he's not out there telling lies. Unlike Dan Lanning, he's not trying to be underhanded. He came out and said, if I had done this, he took ownership for that loss.
Right.
And
that's true.
Whether or not he would have won is irrelevant. The fact that he took ownership of it, I can respect.
Yep. So, hey, I know I don't want to go. You got guys waiting.
Yeah.
When I called in, there wasn't anybody. So I don't want to. I'll here in a second. What do they say in Congress? I'll succeed my time or give back my time.
Cede my time. Yes.
Yeah, but I do have friends out in Madison. So if anybody's out there and they're downtown, go to Dottie Dumplings and look for some friends named. Of all the Buckeyes, we know they travel well, and everybody's wearing red. But say hi to John and Becky and the team for me.
All right. Hey, appreciate the call. You have a great day and enjoy that game.
All right, man. You too.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep. Thank you. OH. All right. That was our friend Billy Bob from apparently in Ohio today, up in the old CLE. My old stomping grounds up there, Northeast Ohio. We're going to go next to, okay, hold on a second. Rocky has asked to go last, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring on Coconut first, and then we'll bring on Rocky to probably close out the show as the last caller before I go to my picks for the weekend. How are things in the Philippines?
Hey, everything's great here, Wildman. It's 11:04 p.m. Saturday night, and just waiting 4.5 hours away from game time.
Oh my goodness, that's gotta hurt. Those 3:30 games have to be a crusher for you.
Well, I don't really have a sleep schedule, so I just try to sleep before the game, so I'm wide awake by kickoff. But I'll probably go to McDonald's after the show and then just get ready for the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on today's game?
It should, like we were saying earlier, never take any game or any team for granted. But it should be an easy game for us, a tune-up game, if you will, and then we go into our bye week, which we all hate that, but it's part of the season now, 2 times a year. And I can't wait to see who shines today, who's stepping up on offense, who's showing out on defense. It's always a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. For me, I'll tell you, I think that this is a game that's poised, I think, for this Ohio State offense to put up some decent numbers. Now, Wisconsin is a decent defensive team, but they have given up a lot of points here recently, starting with the Alabama game, then giving up 37 to Iowa. I don't know how you give up 37 to a very poor Iowa team. If you look at this team and what they're allowing, this is a team that's been allowing quite a few yards per game, over 100 yards more per game than Ohio State is what they're allowing, and not playing against competition that's anywhere near Ohio State's level. I think this could be a big offensive game. I do think Ryan Day and Brian Hartline have to come together, though, and say, this is a physical front seven for Wisconsin. We may need to use the pass to open the run. Let's use a few running screens or wheels to the running back. Let's use some tight ends. Let's use the short passing game with Jeremiah, with Carnell, with Ennis. Let's use that short game almost like an extension of the running game. Maybe get some jet sweeps involved, but loosen up that front seven a little. That's going to free the running backs to have a good game. If you go out there and just try to go physical nose to nose with that Wisconsin front seven, I think we almost see what we did versus Michigan last year, at least in the first half.
Yeah,
I think Ohio State ultimately has the athletes and wears them down. But I don't want to see a slow first half. I want a fast start. And I think the short passing game to open up the run does that.
I agree with that. I think you do need to use the pass to open up the running game, loosen up the defense, keep them a little bit off balance, and then they really don't know what's coming. Of course, it's football 101, but if I do have one thing to say that has frustrated me a bit about this season, it's the time it seems to take to make adjustments on offense, where things sort of aren't working and we're sort of like grinding our gears a little bit. And,
I've got a theory on that, though. I've got a theory on that. Yeah. I think it's this. I think it's Hartline's a first-year play caller. And I think Ryan Day is trying to allow him to work it out himself. And when these changes are being made, if Hartline hasn't figured out, that's Ryan Day stepping in and saying, hey, you need to try this. Maybe not telling him to play, but telling him the kind of the idea, maybe the formations to run out of.
I get that. He's letting him sort of have a chance to grow and get some real experience and make those decisions. But I just, what was I going to say?
It is frustrating to watch, though. You're right. It is frustrating to watch.
Yeah. But I also see the strategy of which a lot of people, we've talked about it before on previous shows here and on Patreon, that we're also not opening up all the bag yet because we're, keeping a few things under wraps, and we'll have some surprises for other teams in bigger games perhaps. So I see that too. You don't need to pull out the big gun when the little gun's still, getting the job done. And you got a row of pumpkins on the fence and you're pop, pop, pop. So you're taking care of business and don't really need to pull out the bazooka yet. So I can also see that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think as fans, we get a little impatient. We want to see a 70-0 game. Jeremiah has hauls in 4 catches for TDs, and Julian Sain puts up 350 yards. But I'm excited.
We're spoiled, though. We're spoiled.
Yeah, absolutely. If you win by 1 point, you wanted to win by 20. If you win by 20, you're like, why didn't we win 63-0? So let's just keep steady and focused and pursue our dream, our mission of winning back-to-back natties. And I know that will be so crushing to the cheaters up north if we can do that. So
yeah, and I'll tell you,
get that second natty.
You talk about it doesn't matter whether it's 1 point, 20 points, whatever, and you're right. Because I'm going to tell you right now, do you think that Miami and Bama and Oregon and Georgia and LSU, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Missouri, Vandy, all these, Virginia, all these one-loss teams, do you think for 1 second they wouldn't trade that loss for a 1 point win?
100%. Yeah, because you don't care. Once you make it to the playoffs and you're rolling, you don't you don't look back and say, but we only won that game by 1 point. You're just happy you got that victory. You might be undefeated and you're playing for your conference championship, going to the playoffs. So absolutely, they would take it.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody talks about quality losses. Well, I'm tell you what, a crap win beats a quality loss any day. I don't care who you are.
I say it to my brother all the time. I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. So, yep,
That's right. You show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser.
absolutely.
So
I was saying, I'm excited about every game. Obviously, we all are. But after the bye week, I can't wait to play, of course, the cheaters up north and stomp them out, hopefully. But I'm also excited about one other game coming up. That's UCLA coming into the shoe.
yeah, that now you talk about
I
a
think
trap
that's
game.
good. Yeah. If Nico gets loose and starts feeling it, but I think we should handle them. Our defense should prevail, but I think it's going to be it's going to bring a lot of electricity into the shoe. It's going to be a very hyped game. I can't wait for that game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I look forward to that as well. But I'm focused in the here and now, like I hope the Buckeyes are, and I'm sure they are.
Yeah,
I'm worried about Wisconsin today,
yeah,
getting into the bye week, getting healthy, and then coming out and finishing off the Mitten Kittens.
yeah.
So,
One step at a time. I get it.
that's it. That's got to be the
For sure.
motto. It's funny, but it's almost like James Franklin. The whole 1-0 today thing that he had going on for so long.
Hmm.
James Franklin and his 1-0. Let's go 1-0 today. That's a great philosophy. It's a great philosophy,
Yeah,
especially if you're winning. So,
for sure. For sure.
all right, man. Hey, you
Okay.
have a great day. We will hopefully see you in the chat here a little bit later. Enjoy the game.
You too, Wildman. I'll be there and appreciate everything that's happening here at the OHIO podcast. Shout out to all the chatters and friends here on YouTube and on Patreon. Love you all.
Thank you so much. You have a great day. OH.
IO.
Go Bucks. That was our man in the Philippines, Mr. Roland Coconut, and we are going to close out the calls today with our buddy Rocky. He's going to be on here ready to go.
Hello, Buckeye Nation. This is Rocky here with your weekly news of who's going to get their asses kicked by Ohio State this week. How are we doing today?
I'm excited to be a Buckeye, like I always am. Feeling a little sad for our buddy Luke Fickle up there. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt today. And as much as I want to see, I don't care if Ohio State's hang 70 on him. I really don't. I'm gonna feel bad for Fickle, but I'm gonna feel that much better about the next game versus Penn State if we do that.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I mean, like to touch up on the call because there's a lot of things I do want to talk about.
Yeah.
But one of the things I do really want to talk about is about the caller I think it was Bobby or something, and he was mentioning Brett Belima, and for the younger Buckeyes that don't know, for the younger Buckeyes, Brett Belima was the last great Wisconsin head
Yes.
coach that he was the only one since Barry Alvarez to have the number one team to beat Ohio State and having a Super Bowl winning quarterback with Russell Wilson. Brett Belima had a really great program. He was a great successor of Barry Alvarez, and Barry Alvarez was the one who put Wisconsin in the 90s, and his trademark was that run it down your throat, bulldoze you in the trenches, and with skill running backs to go north and south all over the line of scrimmage. For the younger Buckeyes who haven't, been the privilege to be old enough to understand.
Those guys who didn't get to
we're
watch
talking
Ron
about.
Dane and they had some great ones up there.
Well, let me tell you my origin story a little bit. The reason why I'm a big Ohio State fan goes all the way back to 2002. I love having these old guys coming on, former Buckeyes coming on and interviewing, because that was the peak of my childhood. First year playing football, I was playing in the youth league 1 year before going into high school, 8th grade. My coaches, first day of practice says, go home, go watch football, watch your position play so you know how it looks like what you're supposed to be doing on the field. My parents are born and raised in Ohio. My dad was from the west part of Ohio. My mom was from Warren, and they moved to Florida, born and raised Florida. I do claim Florida Gators as my Florida team because, the orange and blue,
We shared a
that's
coach.
just the Florida part.
We shared a coach. The Urban coached
What?
both. I said we
Oh.
shared a coach. Urban
Yeah.
coached both. So
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was shocked when Urban went to Ohio State, but then I learned that he's a big Ohio State guy, but his Baltimore Cincinnati, but he loves Ohio. That was a weird thing, because the next day in school after we lost the national championship game, boy, did the Gator fans played into me. But going back on the origin story, it's great seeing these guys from the childhood of 2002. My first year watching it. And then, watching it every single week, watching it, then watching Holy Buckeye, watching Michigan, and then they go into the national championship game. Nobody gave them a chance. Ohio State came out with their heads on fire, wins the national championship game. First year watching football, watching Ohio State go undefeated, magical scene. Second year, Jim Tressel. I mean, oh my God, what a great way to start your college football fandom, life, all that. I'm like, yeah, I pledge my allegiance to Ohio State, so I became a diehard Buckeye fan ever since they won the national championship, So that's where it comes from, I love Ohio State. That's the reason why, and it's just a big part of my childhood. Now when it comes to old school, now here's another thing for the young kids, when you're talking about old school Midwestern football, there were two programs in the Big Ten that was the pinnacle of old school Big Ten football. Michigan State with Mark D'Antonio, and Iowa right now, Kirk Ferentz. Kirk Ferentz still carries the mantle of the old school Big Ten football, Midwestern football, fundamentals, go at it, and be consistent. He is the most consistent coach other than Nick Saban to keep on doing what he's doing with Iowa. It's remarkable,
Yeah.
I respect him. I respect him a lot. It's going to be a sad day for college football when he's gone. I mean, retires.
Yeah. Yeah, he's somebody that I think gets a lot of negativity because he's been around so long and hasn't won a chip. But you're right. If there's one word that describes him, it's consistency. Consistency. He's going to go 9-3, 10-2 every year. He's going to take these guys to a bowl game. He's going to have one of the best defenses in the country. That's just what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the Big Ten, and after I talk about the Big Ten West, I'll get on to Wisconsin and Ohio State, because their stat lines it's just lopsided. So after I talk about the Big Ten West, we'll get on Wisconsin. I'll just go ahead and call there, because I got a lot to talk about. I mean, it'll take hours, and we don't got hours. We got minutes and seconds. So
yeah,
the Big Ten West, I wanted the guy, I think it was Tyler, that was talking about, typical Big Ten West football, the typical Big Ten West. I mean, the league sucks. It's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Big Ten teams, like Northwestern, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Iowa is the only one that's, just a moment ago, I just said consistent. Nebraska is never going to be the same. They'll never, Nebraska is never coming back, and it's a travesty, in my opinion. The only two Big Ten teams on the West that seems like they're only doing good recently, and it trades off too. If you notice, it's always a shift. I'm not sure if Michigan State was big. I forgot. I think they're the East though, but it always trades off. Like with one team in the Big Ten West, like, oh, they might be a hopeful contender. Like Minnesota is the main, contender on that one, or Purdue. like a sleeper team, but they're not really a sleeper team no more. But Northwestern was kind of like in that little, Wisconsin was kind of like, it always trades off. It's not a consistent. You got the East, you got the three kings, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. Despite with Michigan and Michigan and Penn State, they're the more dominant programs. Now, guess what? Michigan falls off worse than Penn State, in my opinion, because Michigan has the worst stat line on defense. They give up 600 yards per game. Penn State, at least they do a little better. Yeah, sure, they lose. They get, but Michigan, if I'm a Big Ten guy, I want to think that Michigan is doing a lot worse because they're not keeping up with what Jim Harbaugh left, and there's a reason for that. On the other hand, Penn State, we're all saying, oh, Penn State just being Penn State. That ain't no surprise. James Franklin is being James Franklin. So we're like, yeah, we expect that from Penn State. But Michigan, on the other hand, they're supposed to be the big dogs, the one of the three kings. Take out Michigan, replace with Indiana. I mean, like, it's pretty bad if you're Michigan being replaced by Indiana. Michigan is to fall from grace. And going back on the Big Ten West, the only two good teams you got is the only good teams, that you got is Oregon and Iowa. That's even, Iowa can contend. And you maybe got a third with USC. It all depends on how they're going to perform tonight. And they got a tough game in front of them against Notre Dame. I know you hate Notre Dame, but, like with this weather condition, it's going to be an old school smash mouth, ironclad, bloody knuckles in the trenches Midwestern football because of the weather, and that's a totally different story. So it's, the Big Ten on one side of it, the East, it's consistent. And on the West, it's just the Wild West. And they're not really a good football programs. It's really interesting. What are your thoughts so far on that?
I agree with everything you've said so far, but I do want to clarify one thing. I don't dislike Notre Dame. I dislike Marcus Freeman. Notre Dame was a school that I used to go over and watch games all the time. Beautiful campus, wonderful fans, a place where I used to go and enjoy watching games. My ex-wife's uncle was a priest over there. We got tickets a few times to go over. Great venue, great fans, great history and tradition. But yes, I will root against them as long as Marcus Freeman is their coach. But no, you're 100% right. It's going to be, with the weather predicted the way it is, it's going to be a bit of an old school slobber knocker, as they like to call them. Now, I did see USC. Their run game showed me some things last week versus Michigan. So I think they can run the ball. If this comes down to passing, though, or if this comes down to just running, rather, and no one can pass the ball, you're right. It's definitely edge Notre Dame, I think. Because I still don't think that USC's defense is there.
Well, here on the defensive so far, Notre Dame and they both give up 300. No, USC gives up 352 yards a game. Notre Dame only gives up 353, so they're basically neck and neck. But the only factor is their cornerbacks, or is it their safety, because one of their backs has 5 interceptions, leading the college right now in interceptions.
Yeah.
When it comes to passing, the quarterback, I forgot his name, the USC quarterback, he's only the second leading passer in the whole country. Had the weather situation be different and it's clear weather, Notre Dame's big story on defense will be containing the pass, because they are the weakest. The most any team passed on Notre Dame was Texas A&M with 488 yards. That's really, really bad for any team out there. But fair enough. I hear, you don't hate Notre Dame. It does feel that way, Chris. I'm just being honest.
I get that. But I just can't root for a team when I don't respect the coach. I have trouble rooting for the team. So,
well, I will admit that was pretty flipping stupid of how he said it. And I do think he's the next man up at Ohio State after Ryan Day.
And I can honestly say, if he comes to Ohio State, that may be the day that I turn in my microphone, because I don't think I'd be able to watch it.
No, you're going to man up and step up to your own words and live it out. And if he wins the national championship, I want you to say, you know what? I had reason, but I'm glad he made up for it. That's all I would like to see. I don't want you to be like wearing a speedo.
No, I would not do it. I would never. This is the thing. I would never root for another college football team, but I would not be able to root for any team where I don't respect the coach, and that includes the Buckeyes.
Yeah, fair enough, man. I'll go ahead and end it off with Wisconsin. You know, it's going to be short because there's nothing much to say. They're not a threat. No competition. We all know Luke Fickell's gone by the end of the season. Oh, one thing I want to touch up on USC. I watched them play against who in the hell was it? It was Michigan. I watched them dominate dog walk Michigan. They control the trenches. And even a week before that, you know, I like to watch other teams. USC the way they run their football, their running game,
yes,
looks comparable to how Ohio State does it. You know, I watched them and I'm like, damn, it's kind of like watching Ohio State do this. Okay, but I just want to throw a commentary. They can run the ball. But the thing is, Notre Dame's run defense is one of the. It's not the best in the nation or even the top 10, but they're pretty. They're solid though. They're still a solid unit against the defense on the rush. But going back on Wisconsin and Ohio State, I don't see no competition. Maybe in the first quarter, you know, maybe Wisconsin is going to come out with their heads on fire because what fans has got to understand. I hear this a lot. This is a common trope that I hear. Even with a caller a few calls ago, I'm not sure if it was coconut or rolling nut. Sorry, man. But I hear this that you know, like we should be putting up more points. Why we're looking like we're grinding our gears, you know, and all this. And I'm just thinking to myself, all right, you guys, let me put this to bed for you. We're the best team right now, and we've been an elite program. When we say that we are starting a dynasty, let me tell you all something. We've been a dynasty since Trustful. We have the most wins. We have Heisman trophies. We have national championships, conference championships. I mean, we are the winningest program in the modern era. I don't care about the total numbers with Michigan. They've been good since Moby Dick was a minnow. They've been that, you know, like that's how old we come. But
since the invention of the face mask, we've bettered them.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll tell you what. I know Michigan's on a win streak against Ohio State, but I'll be worried. I mean, I would be worried because, I'll reserve that for the Michigan hate week. Okay, I'll reserve that. You know,
because there'll be a lot of hate that week. I promise.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How they've been behaving. They need to be put back to the shed a little bit and just, you know, think about how they've been, you know, think about their little actions the last few years, you know. But going on, I think it's going to be like 49-0, 49-3, 52. It's going to be like in that area. I don't see Wisconsin doing anything. I did get a little sidetracked while saying about like every single game we play, we're an elite program. It's going to happen. Everybody's going to come at us at our best.
Yeah.
The question is that when they do it, can they sustain that momentum and the first few drives? You ever notice like the first couple of drives, they look strong, like, oh wow, looks like they're going to compete against Ohio State, and then the farther the game goes, there's a gap going in between, especially in the second half. There's like the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and Ohio State wins the football game. That's because of the depth talent that Ohio State has versus the normal teams. And it's not our fault that Texas was preseason ranked number 1. That's not Ohio State's fault. It's not Ohio State's fault that we play against people who are supposed to be ranked and not ranked. That's not our fault. That's their fault. That just means we're that good.
Yeah.
Get on the gravy train. It's okay to be like, hey, you know, we're really good. It's not Ohio State's fault everybody sucks. I mean, like, come on now.
That's it. We're not going to apologize. We're not going to apologize for greatness. It's just that simple.
No. And we got a lot of flack from Clemson fans, Georgia fans, Michigan fans, Alabama fans, SEC fans, the whole country. Oh, y'all pretending. y'all act like you're a powerhouse, but when you play against big games, y'all lose. I'm like, well, we ain't Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. We ain't Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. So what are you talking about?
We aren't
We play
Dabo
big
Sweeney at
games.
Clemson.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need one quarterback. We reload. You see a lot of countries, teams around the country, they need a quarterback. Once that quarterback leaves, they're done. They're over.
Well, that's Dabo.
Sweeney's a great example of that.
Yeah, no Trevor Lawrence. He sucks. It's that simple.
Yeah. No, but going on and saying it's not our fault that we're that good. And as far as comes to everything, just you guys think of it this way. Every game we play, Ohio State comes into your team, it's the Super Bowl. Of course they're going to try and come out their best with us. That's why we look sluggish and we're grinding in gears. That's why I would scream that to the skies. I'm going to close it out. You know, I know I'm getting around the 10-minute mark, going over a little bit, but let me say this much. Ohio State, they're going to dominate. I'm not even worried. I'm going to probably not. I got volunteer work at the local observatory, so I can't watch the game, but I know Ohio State's going to win. I got to record it anyway so I can watch it later and see how the team plays and what the energy, how that looks. But I'm not worried. This is a bye week. We got 2 bye weeks, and I'll say this much. Don't be surprised you see Indiana and Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, I think you will.
But Chris, thank you so much for having me on.
You.
I love Ohio State. I love this community. This is a really good, freaking fun community I love being a part of. You guys are the best. Eric, Wildman, Corey, TG, Mika, Buck Vader, the GOAT Buck Vader. Y'all have a good week. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Go Buckeyes. Michigan sucks. Out.
All right. That was Rocky. Thank you so much for the call, Rocky. Appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to address this question by Andre real quick, and then we got to get out of here because Eric's going to need to get in to do up our stuff for before the game this afternoon, get all of our chat rooms set up. So before I go, Chris, if Luke Fickell does leave Wisconsin, do you think he and Larry Johnson could be co-defensive coordinators before Larry does decide to retire, if he does go that direction? No. James Laurinaitis is going to be a co-defensive coordinator. I think that Laurinaitis and Fickell could be co-Ds. I think that maybe Larry Johnson or Luke Fickell would come on as an analyst for the rest of this season and see what happens with Larry, or not this season. Luke Fickell would come on for a season as an analyst, see what happens with Larry Johnson. I do believe that Fick would be a great fit. I do think that he would work well with his coaching staff. I do believe that he and Ryan Day have a great relationship. I would not be surprised. Eric mentioned it. Let's watch the interactions before and after the game. I think that the door will be open for Luke Fickell to come back if he wants to. Did Gene Smith do something that's going to permanently damage the relationship between Fickell and Ohio State? We'll know after this. So I do think that there is a spot for Fick if he wants to come back. All right, before we head out of here, I'm going to hit you guys with the Wildman's weekend locks. This is my picks for this weekend's biggest games. So we're going to start with Ole Miss and Georgia. Ole Miss is at Georgia. Georgia is a 7-point favorite. Give me Ole Miss. I'll take Ole Miss with the 7. I don't think Georgia is the same team that they have been in years past. Now we're going to switch on over to Alabama and Tennessee. Tennessee's coming to town. DeBoer's got these boys playing pretty good ball right now. I think Tennessee's a little overrated. Plus, they got to go into Bama. Bama's given 8.5. I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to take Alabama and take lay the points. Vandy and LSU. Vandy is a 2.5-point favorite. That's right. I said Vanderbilt is a 2.5-point favorite. guys, and I'm buying it. I'm going to lay the points with Vandy. I have zero confidence in Kelly as a head coach at this point. So go ahead and give me Vandy in that one. Now we're going to hit on the three biggest ones for us. USC goes into Notre Dame. USC is getting 10 points in what is going to be an ugly weather situation. I like that. I think this is a low-scoring game. First of all, I would hammer the under. But if you're going to take one of the two teams, I'm taking a USC with the 10 points. Washington travels to the outhouse. Give me the Huskies. Huskies are getting 4.5 points here as of this morning. 4.5 points. I think Michigan's a broken team, especially if Justice Haynes can't go. Don't think Jordan Marshall is the answer. Give me the Huskies with the points. Lastly, we got Ohio State going to Wisconsin. 25.5 points. That's a large margin. But you know what? I'm going to lay those 25.5. Ryan Day has covered in nearly every game this year. And I feel like they're going to do it again. This is a very bad Wisconsin offense. It's a good defense that is going to be worn out by halftime. If Ohio State attacks in the first half, this one's going to get very ugly. I've got Ohio State, as I said earlier, winning this in 45-0. Give me Ohio State to cover the 25.5 point spread. So that's going to be it for the Wildman's weekend locks for this weekend. Guys, make sure you hop on over to Patreon this afternoon. Only $5 to sign up for that membership. We have the $5, we have the $20. The $20 gets you the free hat, a few extra bonuses, but the $5 membership gets you access to all the message boards, gets you Vader's blog, gets you all our exclusive content, including our recruiting analysis and our free watch party or our game watch parties. Guys, the game watch parties are a blast. Join us for the one this afternoon, 3:30 on our Patreon channel. Until then, good day. God bless. Go Bucks.